Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is If Loving You Is Wrong, Season 3, Episode 8, and the name of this episode is Keeping Watch. Now, the episode opens up where Eddie enters Pete's room at the hospital. He immediately goes in, questioning him about the disc, and pretty much Pete plays like he doesn't know what he's talking about, and that he has no idea. But then he also knows that Pete made a copy of it. And where's the other copy? Pete still wouldn't give him the answers, but Pete is crying, because he knows that Eddie is trying to kill him, and that Eddie's going to try to finish him off. Next thing we know, Eddie finds that wound where the bullet is still punctured in his chest and starts pressing in on it, but Pete can't feel anything because Pete is full of morphine. But afterwards, you see that there's all this blood, that has come from that wound. And I'm saying, Eddie, you are one disgusting motherfucker and you deserve to die. Hashtag Tyler Perry. Eddie gotta go, because based off of this episode alone, Eddie has done entirely too much that he deserves to continue to live amongst society. He is an actual threat to human civilization. This motherfucker has to go. You hear me? He has to go. And then this fool starts to shoot something into his IV or whatever, and good thing about it, Pete pulled it out, but then Pete passes out afterwards, so we don't know whether it hit Pete or not, because he's like, it's time for you to go to sleep. I'm about to put you to sleep. You're gonna have a really good sleep. You're gonna sleep for a real long time. And I'm like, Eddie, you evil bastard. Outside of the door, we see Ben is trying to distract the FBI agent. The FBI agent saying that, Ben is saying that I'm his friend, and the FBI agent is like, I don't care who you are, you're not allowed in that room, and no one's going to come in that room. But as soon as he's saying all this shit, Eddie walks right past him unnoticed. Now I'm like, bruh, how the hell did this happen on your watch? That bastard was able to get into that room and not only torture, but then shoot up some substance inside of Pete when you were supposed to be guarding that door. Yeah, because even Pete asked Eddie, like, how the hell did you get in here? He's like, FBI people got to go to the bathroom, man. I just took an opportunity. He got up and went to the bathroom. I came right in. So I'm like, man, see, this dude is fucked up. He fucked up big time. And then you gonna fuck up again when this son of a bitch walked right past your ass and you didn't even see him. And then Ben being dumb as fuck, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be FBI one day. Mark my words, man. I'm going to be where you are. I honor you guys. You guys are great. You guys are amazing. I want to be just like you guys. I want to move up. I'm going to move up in this precinct. I'm going to be FBI. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, fucking Eddie Pool is like, get your bitch ass on. Because it's like, Ben was just doing a lot. And I have to say Ben has to go too, and I'm gonna tell you why later on. All right, so oh yeah, then because I'm not gonna do that. Alright, next thing you know, we see Andrew. Andrew is now, they found Alex's car, and he's talking to Stevens on the phone. Stevens is telling him that, look, okay, you're now out of your jurisdiction, but just keep following the leads and find out any and everything that's going on out there. And then he was saying that, you know, shouldn't I be calling for backup? And then Stevens was like, backup? Why would you do that? You know, or just do what you're told. You know, follow up with everything, and, you know, make sure you get back to me if you come across anything. Let me know what's going on. I'm like, see, Stevens is a crooked motherfucker also, as I mentioned before in my other episode. I mean, just how he was trying to interrogate Brad and get him to make a confession. Kind of the same thing he's doing with Andrew. Like, bruh, he's out of his jurisdiction. So since he's out of his jurisdiction, he should not be out there alone. And the fact you have him out there alone lets me know that, yeah, you're trying to trap Andrew to some shit. Next thing you know, he calls Lucien. Lucien at first ignores the calls, but then Natalie was like, look, you need to answer your phone. And at first he's like, no, I'm not going to answer the phone. I'm not going to answer the phone. I'm here for you. That's why I'm here. And she's like, I will feel much better if you answer that phone. So finally he goes off and he answers the phone. It's Andrew. And he's trying to get some advice from Lucien because he said that, look, Stevens got me out here. I'm out of my jurisdiction. I don't know what to do. You know, this doesn't seem right to me, and I feel some kind of way about it. I don't know what the hell's going on. Lucien, you know, saying that, look, I can't talk about this right now. I have an emergency and all this shit. Still not telling Andrew everything, but then Andrew starts getting really adamant, like, look, I need you right now. Look, a lot has happened. I mean, and then he lets him know what's going on, that Alex is missing, Brad is at the station being interrogated, and Randall's missing, the baby's missing, and Miss Louise is at the hospital. So, and of course he had told him about Miss Louise being at St. Andrews because he's at St. Andrews right there with Natalie. So they're having this conversation, and eventually Lucien finally confesses to Andrew that his stepson got shot, and that's the reason why he's at the hospital and why he hasn't been able to get in touch with him. But then Andrew's like, well, I'm sorry, man, I apologize. You know, you need to be there for her and be there for your family. I completely get it. I apologize for my behavior because I didn't know, what was going on. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, because they remember they made that pact that they would just be up in front with each other. So finally, Lucien let him know that, look, my son's been shot. That's why I'm here. That's why I haven't been responding to you. But then Lucien advises Andrew that, look, if something doesn't feel right, pull out. Literally. So Andrew's like, okay, because I admit it, that whole situation don't feel right. Why the hell you got this man out here out of his jurisdiction by himself? Like, you're really trying to get him fucked up, for real. And then after that, Lucien and Esperanza, I think he calls Esperanza, and Esperanza fills him in on some information that, look, I do not trust the situation here. So much is happening, but she tells Lucien, you need to keep an eye on Miss Louise because I have a good feeling she is not safe. And in this conversation, Lucien tells her that, look, do not say anything to Edward. And she's like, huh. So I guess we both understand this now. And she's like, yeah, we do. Do not tell Edward anything. Yeah, because while they're on this conversation, she also lets him know about what's going on and that all of this stuff is crazy and, like, nothing is making sense. But then again, it's like, why is it that they have been on Miss Louise? And it's like, he's pretty much, and she says that, look, Ben's a fucking idiot. So I don't trust it. And you shouldn't trust it either. So keep an eye on Miss Louise. So in this moment, Esperanza, even though I can't stand her ass, she did kind of get me at this moment that, yeah, she's really starting to see that Eddie is spiraling out of control. And anything that's attached to Eddie's going to go right down. Because Eddie's got to die. Eddie's got to go. Point blank, period. Next, we go to Miss Louise's room. Now, this fool Ben has to be the most disgusting piece of shit I've ever seen. Because what this fool is doing is he's getting high off of Miss Louise's morphine. He literally pulled out her IV from her arm and is shooting up himself with her IV and as high as a fucking kite. Next thing you know, Eddie comes in. Eddie comes in being the most narcissistic, selfish bastard he could possibly be, going off on fucking Ben, talking about something, you're in another place, man. You disgust me. I'm like, motherfucker, you gonna talk about Ben, and yet you up in here harassing hospital patients? Really, motherfucker? You gonna come after fucking Ben? Dude, that's the pot calling the kettle black, bruh. You better fall the fuck back. Next thing you know, he's saying, oh, so this is the old bitch that birthed Randall. Slap! Wake up, old... I'm sorry. He's like, wake up, old bitch. I'm like, see, that alone is a reason why Eddie's gotta go. Eddie cannot continue to live and get away with shit like this. So Tyler Perry, get it together and kill this motherfucker. Because this dude gotta go. Because he is doing entirely too much. Like, he's harassing her and then he's like, wake up, old bitch. And then fucking Ben, all high and shit, is like, don't call her that. Her name is Miss Louise. I'm like, oh my God, Ben is such a tragic character. Because Ben is trapped. No matter which way you look at it, Ben is trapped. Because trust me, if Eddie goes down, Ben is going down too. But yeah, Ben can go. Because Ben has allowed himself to, he has completely sold his soul to the devil. So when you sell your soul, devil got a receipt for that ass. So there you go. So Ben can go. And he's pretty much telling him like, you're just so disgusting, Ben. How could you? You need to get on, like, you need to get your life together, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, who the fuck are you to give somebody a damn, come to life speech when you're pretty much promoting death? You sick bastard. And then next thing you know, Marcy shows up. They pretty much tell, the nurse pretty much tells them, like, you're not supposed to be in this room. You're supposed to be sitting out here guarding her. So, Ben gets out, and then she actually talks to Eddie, and was like, is she okay to be here? And he says yes. So, next we have a showdown between Marcy and Eddie. And he tells her, I'm sorry to hear about Randall. And then Marcy's like, is he dead? And he's like, well, nah, but, and he's like, well, I don't know, but I was thinking you'd be happy. I mean, after all, he did have you looking around like, he did have you looking like the dumb bitch of Maxine, the dumb bitch that can't get pregnant, and she slapped the dog shit out of Eddie. Not once, but twice. And I was so here for that shit. Marcy stood her fucking ground. She didn't let Eddie punk her, and she told him straight up like, look, motherfucker, you got something to say to me, you can speak to me through my lawyer. Like, I don't even want you talking to me. He's like, get the hell out of here. And he's like, well, I'm not going to leave because, you're going to be seeing a lot more of me. Due to the fact that your husband, after all that your husband did to you, now that your husband's missing, you're kind of seen as a suspect now, so I'm going to have everybody on you. And, you better make sure you lawyer up, bitch. and then walked the fuck out. And I was like, you evil bastard. Like, there is no filter, there is no emotional concern for any fucking body, which is why Eddie has to die. He cares for no one. Hell, I would even have to say he doesn't even care for his own child. He just uses that child as a way to control Esperanza. Like, he cares about nobody but himself. He's all about himself and has no regard for human life or human decency or just, you know, civilization that, you know, and pretty much just civilization. He has no concern of it. It's like he don't give a fuck. He will annihilate anybody for his own personal gain. And the next thing you know, Marcy's like, that's like disgusting bastard. And the next thing you know, Miss Louise is like, yes he is. And I was like, Miss Louise was up the entire time. She heard their whole conversation. And, you know, because he had mentioned, because while he was in there assaulting Miss Louise, he did mention that he took care of Pete, you know, between him and Ben. So she opens up and tells Marcy everything. She said that Brad did not assault me. Alex's parents assaulted me, and they took Randall. And she also says that those two cops out there, they bad news. One of them has been stealing my morphine and then getting high off of it. The other one talked about he killed somebody and then he slapped me 3 times. So she gave Marcy everything and then told him, and then she said that no, we can't trust those cops. We need to call the FBI. So go back to the house. My purse is on the chair in the kitchen, and in there, you know, and in there you can find my cell phone. My code is 4539, and look for the number of Gary Henderson. He's my cousin. You let him know that Miss Louise is in trouble, he'll know exactly what to do. So I'm like, wow, Miss Louise got a cousin in the FBI. So Eddie, you done fucked up. You done really fucked up, because now not only do you have Lucien on your ass, but now Miss Louise got somebody that's going to be on your ass too. So I'm like, yeah, it's about to really fucking go down. Next, you know, after that, you know, after he leaves Miss Louise's room, Eddie runs into Lucien. Lucien's like, what the hell you doing up in here? He's like, well, I got, you know, don't worry about that. I'm up here doing what I got to do. And he's like, if you want, you can watch my sweet ass as I walk away. I'm like, you know what, Eddie? Really, Eddie? You're really putting it out there that you like to get down, Eddie. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. But, you know, he walks away and he's like, see, Eddie has become so full of himself that he feels he's untouchable and that he's going to continue to get away with shit. That's why Eddie has to be taken down. Because prison is not going to help a motherfucker like that. A motherfucker like that has to be put out of their misery where they can't do anything else anymore. But then afterwards, he runs into Marcy. Marcy tells Lucien everything, and you know, she confesses that, that Eddie assaulted Miss Louise and that Ben has been taking her morphine and that Alex's parents was the ones who assaulted her and the ones who kidnapped Randall. So now he has all this information. Like, so now that Lucien has all this information, you know, he pretty much gives Marcy his card, and he goes and confronts Ben. Ben is high as a motherfucker, stumbling and shit, you know, can't really say a pair of the sentence and shit. just all over the place. And Lucien just asks him, look, where did anybody come into this room? And he's saying, no. He's like, well, it's kind of funny that every time I see you, I also run into Eddie. You know, in some weird way. Like, did anybody come into this room? And he's like, oh no, man, nobody came into this room. I'm like, shit, Lucien. Lucien gave me light this entire episode. I was like, we really saw FBI Lucien come into play. FBI Lucien was not playing, and he slapped Ben's ass numerous times and was like, to the point where Ben confessed that, yeah, Eddie was here. He's like, oh. So Eddie was here because I knew Eddie had to be here because I ran into Eddie. So you mean to tell me you're supposed to be guarding this fucking door, supposed to be guarding this woman, and yet you're up in here getting high off of her morphine and pulled out his arm. You can see all the track marks on his arm and shit. He's like, you know what? Sit your ass here and you don't let anybody into this damn room. No one. He goes in. He talks to Miss Louise. Miss Louise is playing while she's unconscious. And it's not until he mentions that do not trust any of these officers out here that she opens her eyes. She doesn't speak, but she at least opens her eyes, and he gives her his card and said that, look, you can call me any time of the day if you need me. You know, I'll do everything for you. And, you know, we're going to see to it that you're going to be okay. So we actually realized that, yeah, Miss Louise is, you know, she really knows now that, yeah, you can't trust these police officers, but she's kind of probably still on the fence with Lucien, but she at least knows that Lucien's a good guy because he mentioned Marcy. He's like, I talked to Marcy, and trust me, I'm a good cop. I'm not like the rest of these cops out here. You know, I really am going to protect you. Not knowing that he's actually FBI. Next thing you know, he gets out the room. Ben about to get up. He says, sit your ass down. Like, Ben, you done fucked up, bruh, on so many levels. You don't even know that you just got it. You pretty much got exposed by an FBI agent. Next thing you know, he calls Lamont and tells Lamont, I'm gonna need another agent out here because you can't trust none of these cops out here, and I need one to guard Miss Louise Holmes. So we now got to have another FBI detail on Miss Louise. Next thing you know, we also see him going off on the other agent that was supposed to watch Pete. He's like, what the fuck were you doing? How the hell did you leave and use the bathroom? And like, dude, you could have got you a cup or something to use the bathroom, bruh. Like, you weren't supposed to leave your post until somebody relieved you. So the fact that you left your post and no one was there to protect him, you literally just fucked up the whole reason why you were there. And, you know, he's saying, look, I'm sorry, Lucien, I'm sorry. He's like, look, I'm gonna let Lamont know about this. I'm gonna let Lamont know about this bullshit. You know, because, dude, you practice. I mean, but then again, is anybody gonna go in the room and check on Pete? Is Pete still alive? Because Pete did pull out that ID. Is he still alive or is he dead? Next thing you know, we see Alex in the middle of nowhere. Then a police car comes up, turns on the lights. Here she is. Oh, yes. And then all of a sudden there's Andrew. And she's saying that, you know, I need to go get my baby. He's at my parents' house. We need to go. And then Angie's like, oh, no. If you put you in the car, I'm going to have to take you downtown. I'm like, Andrew, you dumb motherfucker. She's letting you know that this whole kidnapping thing, you're in the middle of this whole investigation as to why Stevens has got you out there. She's letting you know that her parents have the baby. Why not just get in the car and take her there? And she's like, there's no time to waste. I can't go downtown. I'm not getting in the back of the car. You know, I'm getting in the front seat. So he's like, okay, fine, you can get in the front seat. And she's like letting fucking Andrew's ass know, like, look, we need to go to my parents' house because I need to stop them before anything happens to my baby. But then Andrew's like, well, I have to rub you down. I'm like, you know what, Andrew? See, that's the reason why you in the fucking situation you in, because you are completely by the book. That you don't need that you don't even realize that sometimes you need to write things in that book. Use your fucking head, bruh. Use your fucking head. Okay, next thing you know, we see that Marcy calls Kelly. She lets Kelly know everything is well, that, you know, Alex's parents is the one who got Randall, and they're the ones who assaulted Miss Louise. And then while she's on the phone, Marcy begins to feel faint, to the point that Marcy passes out. So, I will stand firm that I think Marcy's pregnant. Absolutely. And I think her passing out, hopefully somebody gets to her, and they can run some tests to find out that, yes, she's pregnant. And next, how the way the episode ends, we are... Sorry about that. You didn't see that shit. Next thing you know, towards the end of the episode, we actually see that Randall is being pulled out the box, you know, by the same, you know, white redneck racists who have been assaulting him this entire time. They have now literally dragged his ass. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen to Randall next. So that's my review for tonight's episode. Subscribe to my channel. Leave comments and like this video and share this video as well. And I will be back with you guys. I think next week there won't be an Love Me Is Wrong because it's, you know, election day. But I will be back with you guys for the next review of the Love Me Is Wrong. So until then, take care.